Hi, it's Dyan Reaveley from Dylusions. I'm here at Scrapbook.com and I want to talk to you about doodling. I love doodling. I adore it. I doodle everything. When I was a child, I used to drive my parents mad because I used to colour in the O's and the E's in the newspapers and magazines, and I would doodle and write on everything. This very, very battered book here was one that's been done totally on an aeroplane. So everything in here, I take stencils with me, and I'm always flying. So this is all doodled, nearly all stencils, everything through it. And then when I get home, then I quite often will cut out parts of the images because obviously you're not allowed a knife on an aeroplane. But this whole book is done. I've got about 5 of these actually with different bits. And you can see there's some at the back here waiting to be cut out. These are all just waiting for the images to do, but there's another one on there. And I never get tired of it. So I thought I want to do a little video of it because people think that stencils are just for doing in background. So we're going to use some of these. I chose to go in the bigger book just because I thought it would be easier to see. And to make it not as long a video, I've actually prepared to start with. So I'm going to show you this way. So I've just very, very simply, and it always looks messy till you do it. And I thought about redoing it to make it look neat. And I thought, no, you'd like to see. Can you see where my ruler's blobbed here? You can see here where I've gone over the end of the line. None of that matters because at the end, you just don't see that. You don't see any of it. I'm usually doing this on an aeroplane, remember? So there's lots of turbulence. There's somebody trying to come into your seat. We all know the perils of flying. So you can't be neat. You can't be neat at all. But nobody notices at the end. When they see the finished thing, nobody has ever said to me, oh, that looks a bit wobbly or that anything, because it all disappears, okay? So before we started filming, all I did was I took my journal block, opened my page, and if I'm doing something where I'm cutting, I like it to be the centre of a signature because it's just easier to do it than to do here. So I'm in the centre and I placed my journal block down and I drew this line. I turned it round, I drew this line. I drew the end and joined it up, okay? And there's videos of me doing it. I'm going to show you with this one, and it's the same technique. So I drew those first and then I added a little border. And then this is Betsy's blocks. So I took Betsy's blocks. And you always want to you don't want it to be too near the end. So if you use the edge of where the stencil is, that'll make sure that it doesn't go too near into there. And then I'm just going to draw around it with a pen. So this is my white linen Dylusions pen, which I absolutely love. This is a Posca pen. And I use a combination of the both when I do this because my pen has such a fine nib that if I use it a lot with stencils, people don't realise how sharp this stencil material is. And if I use it too much, it actually cuts into the nib. So I tend to do my outlining with the Posca pen because it's slightly fatter. And then I do all my inner stuff with my pen, okay? And that's the reason why. So I'm just going to place this on. And then I'm just going to doodle. I just warn you now, this video, there's probably going to be lots of speeding up because you don't want to just see me sitting here. So we'll probably speed this bit up and then I'll come back and do the outside. Okay, so you can see where it's as simple as that to just draw it inside. And then I used the large fancy floor for the outside. So a lot of my stencils are designed specially to doodle into. At first, I just used to make small ones, but now I'm always thinking, how will they work with doodling? So I've put this inside. This border is going to separate. And then I like to make it quite even all around. So I don't just plonk it on. Inside it won't matter, but here, can you see where I've got a similar part of the diamond here? So I just adjust it like so. So I've got a similar edge on both of them. It's just something, just a little bit of me that I tend to do. So now I'm going to doodle around the end. So there you can see I've gone round the outside as well. And we're not going to show you everything on here, but I just wanted, this is Martha's mat. And the reason that I've got so many pages to doodle is I'm going to cut through this. Now, if you cut through this before you decorate this, it's really, really hard. So I always decorate this first. So I'm not, you know, you don't have to sit and watch me do this, but I'm going to place that there and I'm going to doodle through there. But I do want to show you how to make this little border here. So I'm going to take the journal block. Be careful if you've got a brand new pen, because they can be very juicy, and this is what happened here. So I drew the lines and then without thinking I just moved my journal block and it just smudged it a bit. So I'm going to flip to this page, because when you decorate it, you will see through this page to this page. So you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 pages all at once. You don't have to do it all at once, but that's what you need in the thing. So I'm going to take the journal block and I'm going to use the rounded edge. So I just decide how far in I want to be. In a square book, it's easy because you want it to be square. So, and I'm just going to do 2 sides. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to come round, okay? And then I turn it so I've got the same distance here. And when I doodle, I'm never bothered if it's got a nice strong line or anything, because I can always redoodle it later. And then I'm going to do the same here. And it's always an ish. You can measure if you like, but I don't have much of a life anyway. So if I had to start measuring, that would just cancel everything out. Can you see where I've overlapped? It won't matter at all. And then I'm going to do one here. So you've got your base of it like so, and then I'm just going to go inside and I'm going to do it again. But that curved line makes it look really nice. There we go. And then I can add the stencils. And in here, in this one, I used the Court Jester on the outside, and then I'm going to put a smaller one in there. Then when I've done all those, when I've drawn everything, I go in and I doodle. You could leave it like this if you want to, but I can't bear to leave it like this. So I usually take my other pen and I will go in and, for example, maybe in here I will just add a zigzag, maybe put some stripes. And in here, I just might make it a big swirl. So I'll go away and I'll doodle all this. And then here, I doodle this as well, because you don't have to, it'll still look good, but I can't not doodle it. So I might put some flowers in so many, like so. And what I normally do is if I put a flower there, then I'll come here and I'll put flowers. I tend to do the same thing. I like repetition. I find it very, very soothing, good for my mental health to repeat things. So I might just go around and do loads of those, and then I might have some stripes in one. So if I've put stripes there, I'll come down and I'll put stripes here. And that's the thing to do. Don't think to yourself, oh, I've got to come up with all these new things. Think of one and put it in lots of them. Go back, think of another, put it in another. So again, I might do a flower like this. So I might add some of those in. So I'm going to doodle those as well, and I will be also doodling here. So I'm going to go away, I'm going to doodle all this. I'm going to put my headphones on because I love doodling with headphones. If you listen to something through your headphones that's not music, I listen to podcasts. We have some fabulous podcasts here at Scrapbook.com, or I listen to talking books. And that's one side of your brain working. And then if you're doing something, and doodling is a fabulous example of it because you don't have to think too hard. That's the other side of your brain. So both sides of your brain start working really well the more you do. And if you do the two together, it starts coming like this. And that's how I keep my mental health in check, because it's no secret that I have a lot of mental health issues. I have rapid cycling bipolar, I have my ADHD, and this is my plugging in. You know when your iPhone goes down and you plug it in, this is what I do. headphones on one side of my brain, doodling the other side of the brain, and that's how I appear quite normal sometimes in this world. It's not often. So I'm going to shoot back there, headphones on, cup of tea, and I'll see you in a bit. Whew. Cool. Right. So I finished all the doodling. I'll just show you this side. They're both the same. You can see here where I've filled in the doodles here. I've just strengthened that and gone outlined, and I've just put a little running stitch around some. On the back here, you see where I've filled in all the circles. I just did, everything I do is really simple. I don't like to think too much. So you can see I've just done a horizontal line here, and then I've just added, just like I was showing you, do a flower here, here and here. And here I used Otis orbs. So I just did the cobweb, sorry, and then I've got this around the back. And I did the same on both sides. Also, what I did to just speed up a little bit is I've done all the downward cuts. When I am cutting, it's always best to keep your hand in the same position. So I just use one of these scalpels, just a little scalpel here. And it's always best to do all the downward cuts first, because if you're doing this, you're moving your hand all the time. So I've gone in and I've done all the downward cuts. So I'm just going to turn the book. You should always cut towards you. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it here, and I'm just going to do these cuts, and they'll probably speed it up. So you see how easy it was to go in the same direction every time. And here you can see where I've cut out. And then if you look on the back, you can see through. Now, all these little cutout bits here, so with these, all these little bits that are left, you can see where they're already decorated. And then I would just make like a mosaic-y, eggshelly border around, and then just put a running stitch in between on top of another page. So we don't waste anything. And I was cheating, look, if I take this out, I'd already done that side for you. So we've got these two sides, and then the only other thing that I would do on the back of here, but I'm going to show you here, is you can see the shapes better here, because I've just gone round with my white paint pen and I've just outlined them. See here, it's just, you can't really see much. So that would be the last thing to do. That took longer because it's the big square book. Now, when I'm on a plane, this is just a perfect size. The dialogue's good as well, but I like this because this is firmer. So if I was at home, I would use this one a lot, but there's a lot of cutting, but this is my favourite to use on the run. And so I do all this, and then when I get home, I cut it out. So have a go. Did I show you these earlier? These were made for a display. So they were hanging on the wall. You can see I've got the small ones behind and then the cutouts through. And now that the show is over, these will go in my journal. I'll just add some little flips on the end and add them straight in my journal like this. Okay, enjoy. Easy when you know how, isn't it? Thank you for watching. If you liked this video and you want to see more from Scrapbook.com, please like, share, subscribe and leave a message. Happiness is life handmade.